Hey there, XR here. And this you're looking at is EverQuest Next Landmark. I thought I would give a brief kind of introduction slash rundown to the game, or at least what it is now and what it's going to be. It's an alpha, and they just actually opened the doors of alpha to players. Only people who purchase Founders Packs are actually in at this point, which is fine because honestly, if you're not really interested in it and willing to help test and put up with a lot of bugs and stuff, it's not worth playing it at this point anyway. It's going to be free to play eventually when it's fully released. Right now, the only way to play it is to buy a Founders Pack, and you get some other perks with that as well. But really, it's just the chance to get in early and help test it. But EverQuest Next Landmark is a companion game to EverQuest Next, which is the upcoming MMO, and it basically is kind of takes its inspiration from Minecraft. Basically were building the world for EverQuest Next, and inspired by games like Minecraft, we're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we gave all these creation tools to players and kind of made a game out of it? So basically you run around, you harvest materials, and then you build with the materials, but it's on a persistent world with lots of other people. You can see here's the map. This is just one island, quote-unquote island, of many. And this thing over here is a teleport hub, which you can go to teleport to the other islands. But this square here, well, actually just the small square in the middle, is my claim. And the way it works is this is a server with lots of other people on it, and when you start, you get a claim flag, and you go find an open square, and you claim it, and you can see here, this is it in physical space, and then everything within this box I can alter as I see fit. I can build here, I can do whatever, and nobody else can. Eventually, in the full game, you'll be able to craft additional claim flags, so you can increase your territory, basically, as you go along. But the basic principle of it is very similar to Minecraft, but rather than being made of blocks or pixels, the entire world is made of voxels, which are volumetric pixels. So it's similar to Cube World, but obviously much more sophisticated in that it's not cubes. But everything is still made of voxels, and that means the entire world is destructible. And EverQuest Next is going to be like that also, but in this one, it means that you can basically alter the landscape. So here I've got my pick out, and this is a patch of silver ore here, and I can mine this silver ore, and as you can see, I mine it, the ground actually is going away, and I'm digging a hole into the ground. And it's kind of hard to see, but after I get it a little bit bigger, I'll expand it a little bit, or get down in there with a better view. Here you can see, I'm digging this hole out of the ground as I get the ore out. And the entire world is like that. I mean, you can dig anywhere, you can destroy anything, and after anything outside of your claim, so that's my claim right here, this blue box, anything outside of that, like this hole I just dug, will after a while heal back to its original state. But inside the claim, any changes I make are permanent, unless I myself change them to be some other way. So basically when you start, and the game right now, I should slow down for a second, go back and say the game right now is in alpha. It's 60% feature complete. A lot of the harvesting and crafting is in. There are no enemies yet. There will be. This is not a combat MMO the way EverQuest Next itself is going to be, but there will be hazards, as they're calling them, which include some monsters and stuff like that. They haven't finalized the way the resources are distributed yet. There's some, not all the recipes are in, that kind of thing. And of course, the biggest thing, which is why I say you really shouldn't buy into it unless you're willing to put up with a lot of problems, is that, they've already reset the worlds like 4 or 5 times over the past couple of days, excuse me, which means that everything that people have built has been reset, which is why my claim is currently empty, because I had to build a house, and then they reset the servers, and now it's gone. So, I mean, obviously that's part of the development process. You kind of have to expect that if you're going to play in an alpha. But once it's released, then hopefully that will be less of an issue once they're finished putting all the different features and stuff actually into the game. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of building and stuff like that, but first I'll say when you start off, I've got a bunch of stuff I've been playing for a little while, but when you first start off, basically all you start with is the lowest tier axe, the lowest tier pick, and the add tool, which is this right here, which lets you add blocks to the world. And obviously picks dig in the ground and dig up ore, axes chop down trees to get wood, and you need to craft better tiers of axes and picks in order to harvest higher tier minerals. I'm actually in a tier 3 zone here, and I can now harvest tier 3 ores because I have a tier 3 pickaxe, but you don't start with that. You have to craft your way up to that by harvesting the lower tier stuff and then crafting new axes out of it. These crafting stations here are all things that I've made, and each one can do certain recipes. This is a sawmill, it does wood stuff. This is a forge, it does stone and metal. And this is a workbench, which does a lot of accessories and props, which are items that you put in your house or use to build with. This here is a sifter, which is kind of a neat idea. I'll show you my inventory here. This is my inventory of actual materials, and as you harvest stuff, you end up with a lot of dirt. I have 64,000 dirt, just because you kind of get dirt while you're harvesting the other stuff. Because if you're not hitting, exactly in the right spot, you'll get some ore plus some dirt. And this is a sifter, and you can actually throw dirt into it, and it spits out a small amount of ore. It's quite a small amount of ore. It's like, for every 100 dirt, you get like one piece of ore. I mean, that was just a guess. It's not real numbers, but it's certainly in the ballpark. But that's fine, because as I said, I've got like 64,000 dirt on me right now, and I already was sifting some stuff earlier, so it's just a way to help get rid of the dirt and stuff. And there are lots of other things I haven't built yet because I haven't gotten that far. There's a marble forge, there's a better workbench, and they each unlock higher tier recipes as you build them. You also have to actually craft your different tools for altering the world. So you start with just the add tool, which, let me go outside. You can add things outside your claim, and they just disappear after a minute. That's the only tool you can use outside your claim. The other tools can only be used inside your claim. So I have this is over here, is the material selector. So you can go down, you can pick which material you want to use and what texture it will show up as, which is very nice. I'll go more into that in a sec. But if I just want to put down like a cube of dirt, boom, there it is, cube of dirt. And I can alter the size to be giant, and the bigger it is, the more it takes up. So over here, I've got 64,530 dirt. To fill a cube of this size would take 1,728. To fill the smallest size takes 1. And it's based on the area of the cube. So a cube of that size takes 27 of the resource to fill. So there's my little pillar I just built. That will go away on its own after a minute because it's outside my claim. Inside my claim, I can use the other tools as well, and things persist until I change them. So we've got add, we've got delete, which I can use to clear out sections of the ground. Or, anything. I can delete anything. And we've got heal, which returns things to the server specifications, to however it was before you started messing with it. So that's kind of how you can undo things if you want to start over fresh. And then I've got the most important one, and you don't start with this, you have to make it, and it's kind of a big deal when you do, is the selection tool. And all this lets you do is select an area and then perform an operation on that entire area. So if I want to level out an area here to build a house, let's say I'm going to build my house kind of right in the middle here. I can do this, select this area, and then I can adjust it. You can see it's telling me how many voxels wide by how many voxels tall it is, and I can shrink it or widen it by gripping different parts of it and moving it around. And then if I want to clear this area out, I just hit delete. And it deletes everything that was within it. Similarly, if I want to add something in an area, I can select the area, then switch to my add tool, highlight the area and just click, and it'll, assuming I have enough resources, it automatically just fills that whole area. It's super easy to use, and it's really, really cool. So I will actually use this area to build a structure, but I want to finish clearing it out. And also, Control Z is undo. So if you make a mistake, you can undo it, just like if you were in Paint or anything else. The only thing, and I'm sure that, like I said, this is still alpha, they're still adjusting things. Sometimes the targeting with the tools is a little wonky to get it to select exactly the piece that you want it to select. But that's the kind of stuff that us alpha testers testing it will be able to help it improve. Just removing this little lip here that I missed. The selection tool is great, but it can be a little imprecise. So when I'm doing more precise things like that, I like to use the delete tool, which you can only do one square at a time with. But I'm going to kind of out as well, and see, I didn't select, I was underneath this thing, so I have to do that. And then I will get rid of this thing. Those arrows are for moving it, but I just want to do that. Okay. So now I've got a nice cleared out square here that I can build a little warehouse on that I'll put all my stuff in, because we've been told that there aren't going to be any more server resets for a while. So so let me also just quick show, this is where you would craft all these different, and here's all the different picks. I have the highest pick, which is the silver steel pick that you can build with this forge. What I'm actually working towards right now, a little bit buggy, isn't making my selection hard, but I'm working toward getting the materials for a marble forge, which will then allow me to build even higher tier things. But when you get ore, you come in here like to metal, and I was harvesting tungsten ore, so I have enough tungsten ore to make 13 tungsten ingots. So you do that and hit craft, and then this bar fills up and you craft things. After I build my house, I'll show you a little bit about building furniture and stuff. There's just a ton of different stuff you can build, which is really cool. Also, that health bar of this tree is annoying me, so I'm going to go finish chopping it down. This glowy axe I have is the Founder's Axe, which is one of the picks, one of the perks that you get for buying a Founder's Pack. But it's just a tier 1 axe and or I think it's a tier 5 axe and a tier 1 pick, which is kind of weird. But basically, you can chop down any tree, but it can only mine tier 1 things, and it's just one tool, where normally you would have a separate axe and a separate pick. But okay, so let's say I want to make a floor here, and I want the floor to be stone. So we'll go over here, and this is where you can pick all your different textures and shapes that you want to build with. So we're going to go over to stone, and down to actual stone, of which I have 6,532, which might actually not be enough for what I want to do, but we'll see. And then I can pick here what texture I want the stone to actually show up as. These all just use the same stone resource, but they will show up as different textures when I actually place the blocks. So before I had made it of polished granite, which I really liked, so I'll pick that. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to have enough to actually do this entire place. And here's kind of one of the problems that I have with the selection tool, is that you can't select an empty square. So I'm going to have to basically convert the floor instead of placing above the floor. So there's that. The question is it only one deep? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, if I want to add to this, I switch to my add tool and highlight it, and you see it turns yellow. Now I have insufficient resources. Normally it tells you. Yeah, okay. I would need 11,800 stone to cover this entire area. I only have 6,000. So what we'll do is just make a smaller area to start with. I want the door to be over here, so let's start with an area about that big. Go to add, boom, and there you go. I've got a floor of polished granite in this section. And I've only got 2752 stone left. Now eventually, I would assume this is actually going to show whatever texture I have selected, but it does not. You know, this picture here that I picked, I would imagine would show up in the square. It doesn't do that yet. But so I've got 10,000 wood. I also have some marble, but well, let's just go with wood. So let's build our walls out of wood for right now. Plain wood tiles. Plain wood. This is the rare wood, burled wood. Vertical green wood planks. They don't have like a... They have shingles and thatch for roofs. Unfortunately, they don't have... like blogs. Like you can't really do like a log cabin. But let's try wood tiles. So then if we want to make walls... First, because the selection tool won't let me select a empty voxel, an empty square, I will place one there to act as a base. Then we'll go to selection, we'll select it, we'll drag it out this way, and we'll make it, let's say, that tall. So there's one wall, I switch to add, and boom, I fill it in. There's my wall. And we can quickly do these other ones. I don't know if I'm going to have enough wood to finish this whole thing the way I'd like to, but well, maybe I will. We can play with that in a second. I'm going to get the rest of the walls up for right now. And the good thing is, if I delete this with the delete tool, like if I delete the square, that material that makes up that square goes back into my stockpile, so you don't lose anything if you need to delete and redo a mistake. I really ought to not be putting it over the stone, because that kind of makes the stone a waste, doesn't it? If there's a wall on top of it, you can't see the stone that's there. Alright, selection, start there, go to there. I don't see that. I'm actually down too far. I want to... Alright, hold on. I was actually selecting the beneath the floor there, which I don't want to do because that is going to transform... going to use some of my wood to transform the blocks below ground, which is not going to do me any good because you can't see those. That would be a waste. Do it this way. Still seems to be doing that. Huh. Well, maybe that's just a display issue. Alright, now I'm going to do this last one manually. First I'm going to remove this stuff here. To clear out around these walls. Did I go too far with this one? I did. Easily remedied. And then we'll make the door over here where the grass kind of comes up to it. So what we'll actually do is, I'm just going to do this manually. We'll leave 2 blocks bare, which is the width of a door. And then we'll just fill in the rest quick. Now I don't remember exactly how tall the doors are, but I have one. I'll just show you quick. In order to make this door, which I have already made, you come over here. It's made in the sawmill here. You can see it's under prop. And then these are all kinds of things you can make: medium barrel, coffee table, chairs, end table, buckets. But one of the things you can make is a door. So if you have wood planks and copper ingots, you put them in there and spit out a door. So here's my door. It comes into your inventory when you craft it. You drag it down onto your hotbar, and then you can place it. Now you have really a lot of freedom when placing it, because you can not only rotate it like this. By hitting tab, I can switch. I can rotate it this way, I can rotate it this way. There are different tools. I can change the scale. I can move it around, or back to rotating. And if I want to just take it back into my inventory, I just hit escape, and then it will reset it to default. So here's the door. We're going to place it in here more or less. I think that's okay. Maybe move it a little bit more out to... Well, no, it doesn't like being on the uneven ground. So we'll leave it right there. And then once I've placed it... Oh, whoops. That's not right, is it? I can open and close it by clicking on it, but I need to actually move it over to the right just a little bit. There we go. Much better. Of course, I need to get rid of this plant, which I think right now the only way to do is to actually remove the ground that it was sitting on. Okay. Anyway, yes, so now I can open and close the door, and then let me re-add these blocks on top. Oops. No, that's right. There we go. And now we have a functioning door to our little house here. I also wanted to put a window in the front, which we can easily do just by removing some blocks. They do not yet have glass, like actual windows, or if they have, or if it's at a higher tier, and I have not gotten to that point yet. But okay, so let's say we want to put a roof on our little house here. Well, somebody's been building over there. See, the whole top of that mountain is leveled off. I haven't been over there though, so I'm not sure what they're doing, but I'll have to go check that out later. Yes, so roof. So we can come over here, and this is just a simple wood hut basically, so we'll put a thatched roof on it. That's under wood for right now. Eventually they're going to add the ability to harvest plants for fibers and such. Right now you just get that stuff from trees, but they're going to add a new tool, sickle, which is not in the game yet. And then you'll be able to sickle down plants to get things like thread and cloth and that kind of stuff. But if we want to make a roof, what we need to do is use the slope, and we do like this. Now the textures are also not very good right now. That is something that they have said they are going to improve before the final release of the game. They're just kind of low res right now, but that's because this is basically this is basically a testing build. So there's one side of the roof, but then we need to do the corners. So we come over here to the thing, and we've actually got slope corner outside, and we just put that there. And then we can put the regular slopes back on either side of it. We're gonna have to put another one of those corners in here, which that's easy enough to do. There we go, and then we've got the corner. And we can come around to the side. And I could do this with the selection tool as well. I just find it easier to do it this way and not make mistakes. I don't know why that ring is still there either. It shouldn't be, but like I said, alpha, there will be bugs at this stage of the game. Do this corner. Yeah, that jaggedness, I've had that happen before too with these corners, and I'm not sure why that happens. It's obviously some kind of error in how it's drawing the voxels, but as for why it happens, I don't know. It is not supposed to be that way, but really want to make the walls stone, but I need to go. Oops, I need to go harvest more stone, and I'm not going to make a video of me picking at the ground for 20 minutes to get enough stone to make the walls out of stone. But what I'll do is I'll go and harvest the stone, and then I can just use that selection tool to select an entire wall and repaint it with the stone. And so I can just transform these walls from wood to stone when I have enough stone to do it. And what I'm probably going to do is just knock this wall down and expand the house out to cover the building out to cover this whole area. And I will be able to do that and reclaim all these resources I'm using now, because when you use the removal tool on things, as I mentioned before, you get the resources back. Yeah, these thatch textures are not super good, but that is something that will be improved. As you can see, the textures on my guy are pretty good. It's just some of the landscape building textures are too low res now. They haven't put the high res versions in yet, I guess. So now we've got the edges of a roof. What I did with the house I built the other night was I just took a cube and I made like a wood beam. So we'll just take this 1, 2, 3, 4. That might be too low. Is that too low? That's not too bad. And well, actually, maybe I'll do it up here. 2, 3. Kind of do this across. And we'll do it over here too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, come on. There we go. Alright. And then we can go and use that as a basis for the next layer of the roof. We'll switch back to slope and the thatch, and then we can do this. And then once we have those initial squares there, I can build onto the side of them to keep it going. And then I'm just going to finish this layer, and then I will Control Z, undo, and then make it flat across the top, because I don't have enough wood or enough time to peak it all the way till it meets at the top. Although that would probably be pretty cool looking. It would take a lot of wood. A lot of time. There are probably shortcut keys for all this changing shapes and stuff, but I have not bothered to learn them yet. I haven't done a super lot of building. Most of my time in the game so far has been harvesting, and you do a lot of that, so if that's not really your thing, there's no creative mode for this the way there is for Minecraft, so you kind of have to harvest what you're going to use. But maybe that'll change, because I know some people are kind of complaining about that. So I want to finish off the roof. I'll go back to selection. I'll select the area of the roof as best I can. I probably need to adjust that somewhat. Like that. And that. How are we on the sides? Okay, let me go inside to make sure that it's right in here too. Yep, and then we'll go 3. Oh man, I don't have enough plain wood logs. I need 2268. I have 21. Alright, we can solve this pretty easily. That is not a very big difference. chop down this tree. So we've got various different kinds of trees. We've got these ones, we've got these ones, we've got these huge ones which currently can't be chopped down. This kind right here is the biggest kind that can be chopped down right now. The big ones, they've said they will allow us to chop down, but you can't chop them down yet. So that's plenty. Now you can see I'm up to 2439 wood. So my selection is still there. So I'll just come back over, switch back to the add tool, and boom, there we go. We now have a solid roof on our house. So here's our little house that we've just built. Hooray! And I can come in here, and I've got some other stuff in my inventory, and this stuff was all crafted at my crafting stations. These are some props that I have. So like here's I'll put that in there, it's a brazier. A brazier. Some of these things. Here's a table. So if I want to pop these down, then I could just select them, and then I have all this rotational movement again. Stick that there, and then I can use it. I've got a jaunty little fire. I've got some wall sconces here. And these do require some positioning. I don't know why they always snap the wrong way. But what I can do is switch my rotational thing like that and rotate them until they are oriented correctly. And these also turn on. I've got a table here I can put down. It's a little big for this house, but my table does not do anything. In fact, it doesn't even have collision detection yet, but I'm sure it will eventually. And my chair here at a barrel. Chair, put a barrel in the corner. And there we go. We've got a nice little house. Some mysterious floating arrows. Yeah, that's a bug. But so that's kind of how construction works in Landmark. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, if you're more skilled with it, you can do a lot of pretty cool things, and there are more tools you can craft at the higher tiers, which I haven't gotten to yet, including a smooth tool, a draw lines tool, and various other things. Oh, and I know I showed you can add in different shapes, but you can also add like spheres and stuff, which is pretty neat too. So you can make a lot of really interesting designs, and according to their pitch, basically everything in the real world of Everquest Next was made this way. And in fact, they're going to have contests where they're going to say, hey, Landmark players, we want a jungle temple for Everquest Next. People are going to build jungle temples. The community will vote on them, and then like the top 3 choices will go to SOE, and they'll pick which one they like the best of the top 3, and that'll actually get added into Everquest Next. So it's kind of a way to not only give us really cool building tools and a harvesting and building social game, but give them the ability to crowdsource design elements for Everquest Next, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it right now. Like I said, it's still an alpha. There's still a lot to come. They're hoping to be in closed beta by March 31st. And then open beta will follow sometime after that, and then full release will follow, if I would guess, probably in the fall, maybe late summer or the fall, at which point it will be free to play. So I would check it out. And yeah, maybe I'll post another video later on when I have something really impressive built. We'll see. Thanks for watching.